A species that flew alongside the woolly mammoth is coming back. The California condor once ruled the skies of North America, a giant from the Pleistocene era whose wings carried stories older than memory. Today, they're one of the rarest birds on the planet. Yet, hope rises once more, carried on the wings of indigenous leadership, science, and a shared resolve to return this dark and ancient bird to the world it once knew. At Colossal, we're on a mission to make extinction a thing of the past. One of the ways we do that is through species reintroduction projects, like the one we're supporting for the incredible California condor. The California condor is one of the largest flying birds on Earth. They evolved thousands of years ago to eat megafauna like woolly mammoths and giant ground sloths. With a near 10-foot wingspan, it can rise thousands of feet on warm air and glide for hours without ever beating its wings. Flying at more than 15,000 feet above the Earth, it scans the landscape below for carrion, the decaying flesh of dead animals.
California condors are apex scavengers, meaning they primarily feed on carcasses of dead animals called carrion. Some research even suggests that the decline in apex scavengers increases human disease risk. So animals like vultures and even California condors have these incredible digestive systems, these highly acidic stomach acids that can break down almost anything they consume.
Condors can go 1 or 2 weeks without a meal, but when they finally find a carcass, they gorge, packing up to 3 pounds of meat into their crop, which is a storage pouch in the esophagus.
Right, they play this really important role where they can go back into an ecosystem and help remove, carcasses and waste products. And so they're sort of like the recycling unit of an ecosystem. They help us slow down disease spread.
When mammoths and giant ground sloths vanished, condors adapted, shifting to whale carcasses along the coast and to smaller ungulates like deer and elk. But those adaptations weren't enough to meet the new threats created by the modern world.
So many times when a carcass is left behind by hunters, it contains lead fragments left over from the ammunition, which when the condor scavenge on the carcass, they end up consuming. So between lead poisoning from lead ammunition and the use of DDT, California condors almost went extinct.
Not everybody is fully aware that DDT, though banned in the 1970s, is still a problem for condors because it bioaccumulates in the large mammals that they like to eat, and so they still suffer from reproductive difficulties.
By 1982, only 23 condors were left in the world, a species older than the Ice Age, reduced to a number you could fit into a single room.
Condors, or Preganish in the Yurok language, were originally extirpated locally around 1892. It was the last documented condor in the area. Because they're so culturally important, spiritually important to the Yurok people, as well as many peoples in the area, I have to imagine that our ancestors at the time, our elders, immediately started praying for their return.
For the Yurok and Nez Perce peoples, the condor is more than a bird. It's an elder presence, a sacred being that once shaped ceremony, story, and the way people understood their place on the land.
He's a part of our story, of our narrative as Yurok and surrounding peoples. Because condors carry our prayers to the heavens. That's why we needed them back when we were asking for the world to be in balance.
To restore the California condor is to reconnect a thread that was broken. It's cultural healing as much as ecological restoration.
In Yurok tradition, Preganish, or the California condor, helps us keep the world in balance. Raised Yurok, I was taught that everything one does, says, or thinks can help or harm the balance of the world, and we call ourselves Fix the Earth or World Renewal people with that responsibility in mind. Ceremony helps remind us of that spirit. Ceremony is where you offer good energy and good prayer for the world so you can keep helping to fix the Earth and remember your place in that. In regard to our World Renewal ceremonies, which are amongst the highest of our ceremonies, Condor plays a central role. In the beginning times, before humans were even really the people of the world as we recognize them, the creators gathered all beings to decide how the world should move forward in a good way, including the animals, the plants, the trees, and the waters, the original spirits, really. They were asked to offer a song that could guide the first world renewal ceremonies. And so some beings, the way it's been told, sang their most beautiful songs right away. Others stayed silent, overawed by the magnitude of the request. But Breganish, the condor, stayed the most silent of all. He was known to be a big, shy, honestly bald-headed spirit who had no voice box and so wasn't known for his beautiful singing voice. And he didn't believe he had a song to give. But the creators saw his spirit. They saw his generosity and his purity, and because he was a scavenger, his gift for perpetuating the cycle of life while bringing no further death into the world. They also knew he flew higher than any other bird, about 15,000 feet if we measure it today, and he saw so much. So the creator said, "You cannot tell us you don't have a story to tell, a song to sing, you who fly over this whole world so high and you have such a huge heart. You do have a song. Sing it." And so the condor sang. Some say only hisses and grunts came out. Some say it came out in its full glory. Regardless, his song, our prayer, shaped by his pure and generous heart, became the most beautiful and powerful song ever heard. We continue to sing that song today as part of the World Renewal Ceremonies. It reminds us, Yurok, that small offerings made with good spirit can help set the world right.
So that's why I'm saying this, first and foremost, is spiritual work. What we're doing is restoring a spiritual network that's going to empower our young people to survive longer into the future. Because this is about Nez Perces surviving in their own homeland for thousands of not just years, but generations. Our young people have gone out. They've asked for help for themselves, for their family, their people, their land relationships. And those spirits, they step forth.
For both nations, the return of this bird is the return of an important relationship, a living reminder of who they are and where they come from.
It never even occurred to me that we wouldn't make this happen, even if it wasn't in my lifetime. We've been here since time immemorial. We're going to be here until time ends. If it didn't happen in my generation, it was going to happen in another. So we just kept pushing.
To learn from another indigenous tribe the importance that they have, the stories that are associated to it, has been quite an eye-opener. It really allowed us to see things in a different light and want to help even more, and especially to help our indigenous brethren, be successful.
So the Nez Perce are just starting their California condor breeding program with the goal of releasing condors in Hell's Canyon. Yeah, it's an amazing moment of indigenous groups meeting together to share knowledge on a common goal: keep the California condor from going extinct.
The Yurok started rewilding California condors in 2008 with some birds from the Oregon and Los Angeles zoos. They've gone on to release 18 condors into the wild.
It was really amazing to be able to see some of the technical work that the Yurok tribe has taken upon themselves to see some of those sacred beings. As we left and we were going up the road, we stopped and we seen 4 or 5 that were circling high above. And so for me, it was like bringing a story or bringing a legend, something that had been passed down through the act of storytelling, through the act of active participation, narratives, into something that was real.
For Colossal, this project is proof of a wider mission: preservation today, de-extinction tomorrow, and partnership always.
I mean, our indigenous partners are models for how we should coexist with nature, how we should value nature, how we should live with nature. So it was really important to us to be able to help support the Nez Perce and their indigenous-led efforts to conserve the California condor.
Blending biotechnology and innovative lab work with centuries of wisdom about coexisting with nature creates a vision of the future that remains deeply rooted in the past.
On top of our initial commitment, we're really excited to announce that we're committing another $500,000 to the Nez Perce for their efforts to release California condors.
The Nez Perce are starting their program with the goal of releasing California condors into Hell's Canyon. This sacred place, one of the deepest river gorges in the country, is ancestral land for the Nez Perce and part of the historical range of the California condor.
We're involved with a lot of different wildlife projects that we want to do to reintroduce, like the gray wolf, that we were part of that. So our next steps really are the Condor project as Nez Perce, so we can have species back into our homelands that belong here. We see that as a big deal for us.
I always say that if you have a healthy and abundant world for condors, you have a healthy and abundant world for everybody else. They reveal to us both what is good and healthy in this world and what needs help.
One day soon, the giant shadow of a condor may again cross the ridgelines of Hell's Canyon. A return carried by tradition, science, and the shared belief that new tools and new collaborations are the key to world renewal.